what this channel is making videos where I talk. What is this? I thought it was just a text channel. Well, no, I do make videos where I talk every now and then. Anyway, so why am I making this video? Well, basically, it's just that I want to make videos where I kind of give you guys updates on the patch, since those are things that like I don't really have a way to tell you about it unless I make a video. I don't have the community tab, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's what I've got to do. I'll try to make updates every now and then about the patch. Again, it's a background project. It's not like my video projects where I could just upload a video. That's the update, right? It's the new part. No, um, gotta make videos where I talk about the patch. All right, so didn't actually work a whole lot on the patch this month in April, of course, because I announced the patch and I had been spending like most of March and February on the patch, so that was didn't spend much time. Gave myself a break. So what am I working on with regards to the patch though? Basically, I need to rewrite pretty much all the code. I'm going to rewrite everything, and the reason why that is because the teaser trailer, what you saw in the teaser trailer, what you saw in the April Fool's video, that was basically what I was able to come up with using a code base that was pretty messy. I didn't really test it. Yeah, it's not really very good code in my opinion. It was really just there so I could like proof of concept it, figure out how the game worked. Just is the patch even viable? Could I figure out enough of how the game worked to even make the patch? So those videos are just kind of proofs of concepts, and as you can see, I was able to pretty much do everything I think I need to do. I can edit the script, edit kind of how things play out, edit the graphics. So yeah, I was able to do quite a bit, but um, the code it does need work. So about the code, um, I'm actually going to be putting my code base, the new code base for the patch, on GitHub. It's actually already there under RGO patching tools. I'll have a link to it in the description. You can see me updated in real time, right? You can call me out and say, like, "Hey, work on the patch more, dude. You're not doing enough." Don't do that, but you could do that if you wanted to, in theory. So yeah, as I said, not a whole lot has been done on it this month because again, I'm not really trying to work on it too much. I was focusing on other things. But I will try to make an effort to regularly add to it, even if it's not a whole lot. I will try to regularly commit to it. Um, and I am going to try really hard to make sure that the code is super clean, fast, well tested, all those good things. It's public code. I think it's sort of a good moral imperative that the code be, really high quality, or at least as high quality as I can make it. Um, so yeah, it's also going to be in C, as you can see if you go and look at the link. It's a C program, and it's going to be targeting Windows. But in the end, it will, in fact, be on Linux as well. I will test it on Linux before I actually release anything. Mac support will have to see on that one. I don't have a Mac, so I don't think I can make Mac support. But hopefully, since it is open source, people will be able to fork it, and maybe someone will bless me with a Mac build, or at least confirm that it does run on Mac. Um, of course, the repo says that the license is GPL, right? So try to follow GPL, but if you're like, oh, I really don't like GPL or something, and I really want to just use the code not GPL, do whatever the heck you want with my code for the most part. Don't sell it, I guess. Um, but as far as GPL related stuff goes, like if you want to use the code and you don't want to make your code open source, I really don't care. I'm not gonna, not. I promise, I will not. I will not file lawsuits against you for doing that. Do not worry about the GPL license. Just like I needed a license on it. Um, there you go. It's what's listed there. But I do guess if you do port it or you do some cool features that like you think would be useful, I encourage you to share it, right? But don't worry about being super strict about following GPL or something just because I put that on the license. So anyway, as for where I actually am specifically on the code, um, I've done some initial, like of course I've set up the repo, the kind of initial kind of foundational work on the code. Right now, I've just kind of gone into the beginnings of making the image extraction, image insertion, code. Of course, for the patch, or for the teaser trailer, I did well, not for the teaser trailer, for the April Fool's video, I did have to actually edit CGs. Like I replaced the CGs with the Mario peeing CGs. um, Mario those images, right? So those are I can completely edit a CG, right? So I know enough to do that. So really, the code should be pretty straightforward to write. It's just again cleaning it up. But I would also like to see if I could add some additional support that I currently have not figured out entirely. For instance, some images in the game or images for like character sprites, they're not stored like a normal image, in the sense that like they're scrambled up into like little tiles that you have to like piece together, and there's like certain data in the image called map data, and that map data can be used to rearrange the image. But I have to first understand how that map data actually works. So it shouldn't be too hard, but if I'm hoping I can add support for using the map data to unscramble the image, and that'll be really nice for stuff like data mining, because there are a couple of character sprites in Rogue Aqua no Otosai that are not actually used in the final game. So it'd be really cool if I could unscramble them and show them off at some point. The other thing that I'd like to add to that I didn't quite figure out yet is the PlayStation 2 version of Rogue Aqua no Otosai has different images in some places. You might know about that if you're someone who played both games. Some of the CGs themselves are different, so there's some value in being able to extract the PS2 version's images. Um, I'm thinking of stuff like you might be able to in the release of the patch choose whether or not you want to have the PSP's version or the PS2 version. That'd be really cool. But in order to do that, I have to figure out how the PS2 images work. They're slightly different. They're actually almost exactly the same, to be correct about that. But the way that the image data itself is compressed is actually slightly different, or at least it appears to be slightly different. So I have to figure that out, and hopefully I can figure it out. That'd be really cool if I could do that, especially since Ravish Romance also uses the same file format as the PS2 final version's images. So that would mean I could really conclude once and for all if there's any hidden images in Ravish Romance. That'd be really, really cool. But yeah, so I've got a lot of work to do, a lot of rewriting work to do, potentially new research to do into the images. And once I kind of reach a point where I like figured stuff out, I'm like, okay, the image handling code is good to go. I'll try to make a video explaining all the code in it. I think that'd be really, really cool, to make a video explaining how that all works. But in the meantime, if you just kind of want to see what I'm up to, you can follow the GitHub, and you can read the code for yourself, right? I'm really trying hard to make sure that the code is very clean, understandable, and that you can kind of learn how the game works via the code if you'd like. But there's an option for you. So, okay, now that's kind of the state of things. I'd like to talk a little bit about what I'm going to do in May. The patch will continue to not be a large focus in May, but I will try to make some commits throughout the month. Um, Again, it'll be work on the images, probably mostly just rewriting the image code to just be really, really tight, real high quality, real good. Um, and as for my videos, of course, I released the first part of Azumanga Donjara Daio um, yesterday or last night. Um, that's a project that I had on the backlog for a couple of months. I've been kind of wanting to make a video series on that. Um, and it's just kind of a little fun series. Again, as you saw in the video, if you did watch it, the dialogue is really, really basic. It doesn't really get any more complicated than just like, a couple of dialogue box interactions every now and then. So it should be pretty easy to make videos. Again, but it's really not a high priority, so you might see a part or two from it. Um, it's even less so than the patch going to be a priority, so yeah, maybe one part or two this month, but not a big focus. As for my Haganai series, um, that's one's really kind of interesting because if you remember, in part one, I talk about how there's another video series for Haganai made by this group called the Rinjinbu. That means like Neighbors Club. the Injinbun TL group, right? And they made some videos on the game that were translated. And they made like the first hour and a half of the game, and we're getting pretty close for my series to kind of catch up to where they were in terms of the story. I'm really hoping I can get to that point by the end of this month. There's like 3 or 4 more parts I have to make before I'm right where they are, and that'd be really cool. Of course, I've been along the way, been doing a whole lot of stuff that was not in that series. Like they didn't do any of the dialogue choices; they just kind of like went straight through the game. Of course, I'm not doing that. I'm showing off every all this other stuff like the cosplay block break and things like that. So it's not like I've been like wasting my time up to this point. But it'd be really nice if we can kind of just say from this point forward, everything you see is completely new, hasn't been shown on online before translated. So yeah, hopefully we can reach that point by the end of May for that series. And on Roll Gakuen Otosai, um, of course, we are getting close to the current end of the current chapter we're on. It should happen around part 107 to like 110 or so. Somewhere in there is going to be the end of that. And then, of course, we're going to have the post chapter content. But 107, 110 around there is when it's gonna end. So hopefully we can reach the end of that chapter this month. And one last thing, kind of, I'd like to say about May is of course that if you're someone who kind of like is attentive to things that my channel is concerned with, you might actually have on your radar the date May 24th, or I guess May 23rd for US, right? May 24th in Japan, right? Which would be like May 23rd here in the US. Or, yeah, one of those 2 days, right? Based off of where you live in the world. That day is actually a really interesting anniversary for something. You'll not gonna say what. You figure it out. um, and that is on my radar. It would be really cool if I could do something. I have something in mind that would be really cool to do on May 24th, or rather May 23rd here, May 24th in Japan. No guarantees on whether or not that'll actually happen, but I'd really like to have something ready for that day. So stay tuned on that one. We'll see if that happens. But yeah. Other than that, I guess that's it for now. Look forward to future videos from me. Look forward to more videos on the patch as things happen. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.